Welcome to Being a Successful Leader with Carl Welty. Carl is a leadership pioneer with years of challenging leadership and consulting experience. Here's Carl with some valuable insights, practical and proven methods for being a successful leader.
Greetings, Carl Welty here. Hope you're doing well. I'm the host of the series, Being a Successful Leader, and I hope you join us in past episodes. And by the way, if you want to catch up with past episodes, there's quite a few of them. Webtalkradio.com, webtalkradio.net, webtalkradio.net. You can find past episodes there. Anyway, the intent of the series is to provide valuable insights and practical and proven know-how for being a successful leader. The series revolves around three, what I call imperatives for successful leadership. The first is being a self-aware and skillful leader. The second is having a sound strategy. And the third is then to get a culture of commitment to help carry out that strategy. Self-aware and skillful leader, sound strategy, and culture of commitment. By the way, I have a book addressing each of these three imperatives, and you can find those three books on my website, welty.com, and go to leadership resources and scroll down. You can order from the providers there of your choice, one or all of the books, and very valuable resources as these episodes are. Okay, well, today, in each episode, by the way, it goes from 15 to 30 minutes, and we do this on a weekly basis. And the topic today is staying fit, life balance, staying fit, life balance. We recently visited the first imperative, being a skillful or self-aware and skillful leader, and referenced my book, Leadership Begins With You, and the importance of discovering yourself by emerging your real self from your subconscious. And I use the iceberg as an example, bring it to the surface and see what's there. And I gave you some ways to do that, as well as taking a look at and discovering your strengths and capitalizing on them. And then the second part is skillful leader, which is looking at three, what I consider critical interpersonal competencies for the leader, having a keen perception of just what is going on. The second one is then communicating about differences. And as a leader, if you're doing the job, you're going to have differences, and you should invite differences. And the third then is being flexible behaviorally to fit with the situation, the relationship, and the environment. Okay, but I'd like to extend that and talk now, excuse me, and for the next episode on staying fit. Just like any professional endeavor, you want to be on top of your game in terms of knowledge and skills and so forth, but also be fit to play the game. And leadership is certainly no exception to that. And so I want to give you some common sense, what I think are common sense of things you can do to stay on top of your game. Today, life balance, and next episode is going to be just some what I consider practical practices, if you will, to stay fit physically and mentally without, making it a full-time job. Okay, so life balance is our topic. It's a hectic world, you know that, especially as a leader, open-ended business, and can go on, and you've got to manage that. And it's important to learn to manage it to achieve balance in terms of what is important in your life. The agenda we'll follow is we'll talk about some realities regarding life balance. Then we'll take a look at some fundamentals. And then I'm going to give you what I think is a very valuable process to help you identify your life balance domains, if you will. Identify your, what I call guiding lights for each domain, and then determine any life balance adjustments you may want to do and how to go about it. So let's deal with realities first regarding life balance. There are several here. Number one is control your own destiny or someone else will. Control your own destiny, someone else will. You are in charge. You are in charge of you Incorporated. And you need to decide what is important to you and what gets your attention and time. Don't leave it up to others. I always say, who would you be if nobody else told you what you should be? Okay, that's number one, control your own destiny. Number two, face reality as it is. You need to face things the way they are, not the way you'd like them to be and so forth. Maybe you're going to strive for that, but you got to deal with reality here and now. Number 3 is think of life balance, not work-life balance. So often here, work-life balance, I use a pie and divide the pie in half. Over here is work, here is life. No, consider the pie having many slices. We'll get to that in just a minute. And work is one of them. And then the rest of your life are other slices. I think that's just a better way to look at the slices in your life, or the domains, as I call them, and then to figure out how best to spend your time, the quality of time. Okay, the 4th is take care of yourself first. It sounds selfish, but it reminds me of the airplane when the steward says, okay, if a mask drops down, put it on your face first before you help others. Well, you got to be fit for yourself if you're going to be helping others. So take care of yourself first. It's not selfish. It actually is the thing to do if you're going to help others. Another one is achieving life balance needs your constant attention. Life is not static. It keeps changing, and you need to keep attention to it. A useful metaphor here, think of a bear balancing on top of a ball. Let's say there's a plastic plate between the bear's feet and the ball, and the ball, it's not static, he's balancing himself on the ball. Well, that's how I think of life balance. It's ongoing, and we need to keep on top of it. So those are some realities. Let's turn now to some fundamentals regarding life balance. What life balance looks like for you is important. The commitment, patience, and persistence to move in that direction. The importance of focus, we're talking. That's one of the key fundamentals, and I'll help you give you a mechanism there to help you achieve that focus in a minute. Developing new habits and modifying current and eliminating current habits is another fundamental to give you focus. To realize that habit creation is not only an awareness of specific behaviors that need to be developed, but you need to develop, as I've said in other episodes, practices, deliberate practice with an outcome in mind. And then also to self-observe, how did that go? And then have frequent quality objective and reflection assessment. That's what self-observation is. Reflect on what you have accomplished. This is an interesting one. Reflect on what you have accomplished instead of gaps that still exist. Especially as leaders, we're always having goals and strategies and where are we at and how far do we have to go and obstacles in the way and all that kind of stuff. And that's good. That's good. And, I have a whole book on that. But in measuring personal progress, it can be self-defeating if we continue to beat ourselves up about, gee whiz, I have a long way to go. It's so frustrating. Look backwards and measure in the rearview mirror as to how far you've come. And to me, that is helpful when you're engaging your personal behavioral changes and objectives. Another thing in terms of some of the fundamentals is that silence your critic, your inner critic. The person on your left or right shoulder is always saying, oh, you should have done that. You should have done, you're not doing enough of this, you're not doing that. Silence that person and you be in charge. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about some other pieces here of fundamentals in terms of life balance. This one's called the Great Conspiracy. Sometimes it seems like the world's against us. We're trying to move forward and so forth, and there's just so many obstacles. And some people getting in the way, even people close to us. We need to realize that they have their own issues and intentions. They're not out to get you or me. They have their own lives with their own issues. Sometimes it sounds like or feels like they're trying to get us, but they're not trying to sabotage us. Maybe once in a while there's a person is, and you got to do something about that. But most of the time that's not the case. So you need to try to turn that around. And if you want to make some behavioral changes in your life, you get more balance or better quality in some of your domains, use these people as support, special people close to you. And to do that, you need to confide in them, maybe tell them what you're trying to do. I'm trying to do more or less, more X, less Y, what have you, and solicit their support in terms of your relationships network. And otherwise, they're just conditioned on how you have been and how you behaved, and they'll probably behave in the same old way. So if you want them to support you and maybe alter some of their support and behavior via you got to communicate with them. Here's a nice quote. If you don't get people to support you in changing, they will support you in staying the same. Okay. Another fundamental here in terms of life balance, tolerance for ambiguity. Life balance is a journey, not a destination. Need to be prepared to experience uncertainty and ambiguity in learning to deal with a change and life balance. Trying different things, be patient and persistent. Here's another good quote, that this one relating to ambiguity. Uncertainty will always be part of the taking charge process. Uncertainty will always be part of the taking charge process. And by the way, related to that, handling uncertainty is one of the key things, key hallmarks of an effective leader. Because, leadership, there's a lot of uncertainties out there, and it can eat you up if you're not prepared for that. The final one here in fundamentals, life balance is a system. Many interconnected domains or parts, and that as you try to gain life balance, there's incremental steps. So let's get to that point now to help you with, I think, is a helpful mechanism to get a good sense of what's important to you in terms of your life domains, and then to take a look at each and then determine if you need to make any adjustments now or in the future. Most people don't know where to start in terms of looking at what I call the life domains and making changes in their life balance. So if you can organize your various activities into logical domains, you're much better prepared to understand and assess what's currently happening in your life and the desired challenges that you have, or to deal with those challenges. Let me give you a set of life balance domains just as a starter thing. You don't have to take these, but maybe make some note of these, and I'll repeat them as we go along. There's 8 of them. That's maybe too many. I don't know, but 8 slices of your pie, 8 domains of your pie as a starter set. And then I'm going to have you reflect on those, especially after we're through here, and make changes, additions, deletions, what have you. So here are the 8 to get you started. Number 1 is not in any particular order, but 1 is community. 2 is family, friends, and relationships. And I'll repeat these when we get to the bottom of the list. Number 3 is recreation and fun. 4 is money and finances. Next is personal and spiritual growth. Then there's personal projects and hobbies. And the last is work and career. Let me repeat those 8. 1, community. 2, family, friends, and relationships. 3, recreation and fun. 4, health and fitness. 5, money and finances. 6, personal and spiritual growth. 7, personal projects and hobbies. And 8, work and career. Okay, again, no particular order. And what I want you to do is make note of those and then customize for you. Okay. So we're going to end up here of what to do. Several steps here. Number 1, review this, as I just said, review the starting set list I gave you of life balance domains. Make any adjustments to the list, add, delete, modify to better fit you and your life. So get your list there. Number 2, for each of your domains that you end up identifying in your slices of your pie, identify the guiding lights for each of those slices. In other words, what are your personal goals or aspirations? There may be several for each of these slices or domains. What do you want to really have happen in your life in each of these domains? Reflect on your guiding lights for each of the life balance domains and make note of any changes you would like to make. Maybe you want to spend more time here, less time there, or better. It's not just time. There's 2 dimensions of your pie. You can take a look at your pie slices and you can easily or make guesses on how much time you spent in each slice. That's not necessarily means they're most important, but it's just maybe you have to spend more time at work than you spend time with other things. But that doesn't make it more important. So you'll have two things you'll be looking at. One is the amount of time you spend in each slice or domain, and the other is quality of time. You may have a very slim slice of your domain or pie, but can spend some high quality time, especially when it comes to family relationships and so forth. It's not always a matter of amount of time, but the quality of time. Prioritize and as make applicable sequence the changes you want to make. There are two things, priority and sequence. Priority is the most important thing. Sequence is there a logical procedure, logical steps that you might want to take? And then make a plan for each change you currently want to make. So review your starting list of your domains. I'm repeating here, identify or define guiding lights for each. Reflect on your guiding lights and make any note of any changes you want to make, either in terms of amount of time or quality of time. And the last thing is make a plan for any changes you want to make. Let's finish up by talking about making a plan. I'm going to go through a list of things. Please make notes of these. And then I'm going to also point you to one of my books. Let me give you that now and repeat it at the end. It's about a self-coaching process, and you'll find that in Leadership Begins With You, my latest book, Chapter 7. Leadership Begins With You, Chapter 7, a self-coaching process, and I'm going to abbreviate that for you right now. And if you want to go in more depth, please look that up. Okay, several steps here. You want to plan for a better life balance. Number one, write down the change you want to make, the change I want to currently make. You know, what is it you want to do? Number two, what is the measure of success or measures of success? How do you know success when you see it? What are your top of mind kinds of bullet points that you're going to assess how well it's going or how well you made that change? Number three, what is the value of going from making this change, going from here to there, doing less X and more Y? The next one is implementation challenges. As you look ahead, what are some of the, what the driving forces may be? What are some of the barriers or some of the resistors in terms of you making this change? It's important just to identify drivers, what's motivating you and what may be in the way. And then the next step is your support network, which we talked about. Anything you want to do, reach out and confide with people and maybe ask for their support in certain areas, because many, as we said already, they're used to dealing with you in one way. You want to make a change, and maybe they need to modify their behavior in relationship to you. And the last one then is an action plan. What are the steps and time frame for each of these steps? Let me repeat that. Number one is, what's the change you want to make? Number two, what are the measures of success? Three is, what is the value if you made these changes? Implementation challenges that are ahead of you, support network, and finally, action plan. And again, please look at my book, Leadership Begins With You, Chapter 7, where we take the same process, I call it a self-coaching process, and go into even greater depth for you. And there's an example there, too, that's to help you understand it. Okay, important stuff, life balance. And that's why one of the things I want to start off right after we talked about the self-aware and skillful leader, to also bear some mind to keeping fit, okay, mentally and physically. We'll talk more about that next time. But next time we'll talk about common sense, mental and physical well-being practices that I want to. I'm not going to be a lecturer. You have a lot of information out there on health and well-being, and I can't replicate that. I'm not qualified anyway to do that. But I just want to share with you some things that I have found helpful for me and others in terms of some simple practice that you can incorporate into your everyday life, okay? So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you take care of yourself when you see you down the road.